Okay, everyone, we shall get started momentarily. I'll just give it about another minute or a couple of seconds just for the last few people to file in. Okay, I've just been told that we have quorum, so we shall begin. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I hope that you're all doing well today. As you probably know, I'm Daniel O'Connor. I'm the chair of the council, and this is the first student council meeting of the year. So hopefully it should be a good one, and hopefully we should all have a good time with it. So we'll move straight on to the housekeeping. I should just bring it up. Okay, a quick reminder on Teams itself and how to use it. I should say, first of all, that from now the meeting is being recorded and I believe streamed also. So make sure that you don't say anything that you wouldn't like to be said in public, and generally try to be respectful to the other members of the council, please. Unless you're speaking, unless you're giving a speech or otherwise communicating over the live stream, please keep your camera off unless you are a member of staff or the chair. And also keep your microphone muted. And furthermore, please don't mute the chair of the council, especially today. I'm a little bit ill, as you can probably hear, so give me a break on that one, please. Okay, so elections. Elections are currently on. Nominations are still open until, I believe, and let me get this right, 4 o'clock tomorrow. So if you or anybody else is interested, anybody that you know is interested in the elections or getting involved with the student council after seeing it today, perhaps, let them know that there is still time to get involved, okay? So if you want to, please get involved with that, or anybody you know that might want to get involved, let them know. That would be good. Okay, cool. Yeah, as I say, we still have time for the nominations, and the voting opens on Tuesday the 12th, so that's next week, okay? So nominations are still open, but the election will go ahead pretty quickly thereafter, okay? So moving on to apologies, we have apologies from Mary Jervis and Holly O'Connor, as far as I'm aware, and I don't believe that I have heard anything from anybody else. And I believe that's everything regarding the immediate business. And if I'm not mistaken, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. I think that's correct. Everybody should have access to those. I believe that they were sent out in the agenda, or sorry, in the papers, not in the agenda. Am I right in saying that that's the vote link that you've just put in there, Ellie? Yeah, is that correct?
Yep, it is.
Top notch. Okay. If everybody would just like to go into the chat, you'll find a link to a voting response form. You can fill in your vote regarding the election minutes in there. It is just a straight vote, so just a simple majority to pass. Once abstentions are removed, of course. So if you approve the minutes, vote to approve them or yes, and if you don't approve them, then vote no. I'll give a couple of minutes for that. Okay, Ellie, could we bring up the form on that one, please? It'd be a simple majority to pass this. It should be simple enough, I'd imagine. All right, okay. So I'm still struggling to see them. Yeah, okay. So as it stands now, just take it as it is. 22-4, and 1 abstention. So clear pass there. Thank you very much. Okay. So that's the minutes of the last meeting approved. That was the last meeting of last year, I believe. Okay. With that out of the way, we'll now move on to the student partnership agreement update, which I believe is from the student president, isn't it?
It's from me, actually. That's okay. I'm the lead on the student partnership agreement this year. So hello, everybody. I'm Ivana. I'm your VP for welfare. My pronouns are she, her. And this update is going to be fairly short. Basically what we did so far for the SPA is we have 3 different subgroups. That's mental health and inclusion subgroup, community subgroup, and sustainability subgroup. And each of these subgroups is led by one of the Sabatic officers. So the first one is me, second one is Camilo, and the third one is Elisa. And we are working alongside university to come up with a plan for the rest of the year on what we are going to achieve, and we'll share that with you in the near future.
Okay, thank you very much, Ivana. I appreciate that. Okay, right. The next thing is the sabbatical officers accountability session. Okay, the work reports. So we're making some changes starting this year, provided council is okay with it, but I think likely they will be. And those changes are essentially that there will be no voting on the work reports anymore. Obviously, that has been a staple of things that have occurred in the last few years. But we've basically decided that this is not really something that needs to happen, and it didn't really make a lot of sense to us. There was no provisions in the bylaw for this to happen. And however, if you are unhappy with something that is in the work reports or anything along those lines, there are procedural motions that can be used to work on this, and you can actually ask for another report to be submitted by a 2/3 majority vote. So there are still ways in which you can interact with the work reports, and obviously you can ask about work, and you can explain that you're unhappy with a particular part of the work. But if you're unhappy with the report itself, instead of us taking votes on each one every time, it will now be a case of we take no votes unless a procedural motion is brought forward for the report to be rewritten and resubmitted to the next council, and that would need to be done by in the general manner. First of all, a student would propose the procedural motion. A student would then need to support the procedural motion or second it, and then that would require a 2/3 majority of the present councillors to pass. I would just like to ask if everybody is okay with that, if everybody understands that, and if anybody has a problem with that, because that is a change from last year. So if anybody has any questions or comments or concerns, do please make me aware just now, and we'll hear them now. But other than that, if that's okay with everybody, then we will move on to the Vice President for Education to begin.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. So my name is Andre. I'm the Vice President for Education for this academic year. So as you can see, I had quite a long work report because it was taking all the way from the end of April until about a week ago. So there is quite a lot of work, which I'm not all going to go through. But I've had some successes with appointments within the Scottish sector. So I have become the student lead for the enhancement theme, which means I'm now currently leading along with 2 other staff leads across the Scotland the enhancement efforts on resilient learning communities, which include decolonizing curriculum, mental health and well-being, and some accessibility work across Scotland. On top of those, I've had some other ones on strategic committees for Scottish sector. So it gives our students an opportunity to feed into those a little bit much more. Since the last meeting, there has been the National Student Survey. So there is one academic question, which is basically how well does your SU represent your academic interests? So we went from 112th out of 124 within UK to number 49, and out of 16th, from 16 out of 19 in Scotland to 5th. So thank you for everyone who has now graduated, will fill out the form and let us know their views. As Daniel has said, the election is ongoing. I have set out some of the work that I'm going to do with the university and quite possibly with my education committees, which you can read in there. So there will be a review of the class rep systems as we have it, and possibly a little bit of the school convener roles. But there's other work being taken forward on delivery of education in the future, reviewing of things such as graduate attributes and skills, decolonizing the curriculum, work placement and volunteering reviews, pastoral reviews that will be led by Ivana, and other ones like monitoring absence and engagement. So there will be a lot and lots going on within the education side of things. And I think that's about it. We've also had success with freshers, but I'm sure other sabbaticals will talk a little bit more about that. And I put information, some things that you should be aware. So for example, there have been some quite significant reports being made by the Office of Students and Scottish Funding Council, and Scottish Funding Council will be taking a review this year on how do they take funding forward in the future. So it's really exciting. They will be looking for students as well to feed into that work. And yeah, it's kind of a once in a decade kind of thing. So watch this space. And one other thing that I should mention, since I have taken the lead role within Scotland for the enhancement theme, there's now a vacancy about who leads the institution of Aberdeen from the student perspective. So if you're interested, just send me an email before Monday and I'll be in touch with the application process. But if you're interested in talking to students from other universities or staff members from other universities on how to take some of the sector work forward, do let me know. It's a really great opportunity to be a leader within the sector, not just Aberdeen. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Andre. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments or any concerns for the Vice President for Education? Please make yourself known now if you do. I don't believe so, though. Okay, thank you, Andre, and congratulations on the improvement on the rankings. Okay, we shall go to the student president then, please, for your work report, if you will.
Hi everyone, that's me. My name's Alisa. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm your student president for the year. Apologies for my work report being an absolute mess, especially compared to Andre's, which was, color-coded and all of that. My highlights were definitely freshers, so shout out to Adam, our sub-lead on freshers, and to the entire AUSA team for delivering freshers so well. It was really, really nice to see so many of the students on campus again and to interact with so many of you. And other than that, my kind of big wins of the first 3 months are my quarantine support kits, which are being delivered to students who need to self-isolate after arriving from international countries, and that the university has agreed on divestment from fossil fuels, which is something that was not in my manifesto, but that we've been working on for the past years. So that was really nice, and I'm sure it will help with, you know, our green campus policy and all of the work we do. And obviously it's also a huge achievement for council, since council had a motion passed in 2019 to lobby the university for divestment. So well done to all of you who brought that forward, and your predecessors and all of that. Also, the light in my office just turned off. I shall quickly turn that back on because otherwise I'm sitting in the dark. Give me a minute. Apologies for that. Other things that deserve highlighting is that AUSA really upped their game on social media. Shout out to Carolina, our comms person, for that. If you haven't done so, follow AUSA on Instagram and TikTok. And all of these sabbatical officers have their individual Instagram profiles. So if you ever have a question, or, you know, anything, and you feel like it's not worth writing an email, or you just don't want that, or, you know, whatever, then reach out to us on Instagram and we are happy to help. Same goes obviously for Facebook, which we had previously. In terms of COVID, I'm on the COVID campus planning group that meets every single week. Students do have the option to study remotely if they wish to do so. However, we've returned to some on-campus activity, which is quite nice. Also, MacRobert is open again all day. You need your student ID to access. We've had some people report problems with that. There were some IT issues that I believe are fixed now. If there are any others, please let me know and we'll get that sorted for you. In terms of the wider world, or, you know, Aberdeen University beyond the Aberdeen campus, the lessons in Qatar started again, and we are working to evolve a good partnership with them for the next year. And obviously with our current elections, we also have Qatar committee elections. And then on other news, as of September, the University of Aberdeen has also a campus in South China in partnership with the South China Normal University. We are working on building an AUSA structure with them, which will likely take some while. So as current, they are not represented in our student council yet, and the whole project has been moving really, really fast. So this is something we are working on and we are aware of, and will hopefully come at some point during the year. Yes, other than that, I think that's it. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm aware that my work report is a mess, so if anyone would like to mandate me to resubmit it to make it look prettier and more understandable, please feel free to do so, and I'll give my best to break it down in some easier chunks.
Okay, thank you very much to the student president for her work report. Do we have any questions or comments or concerns or anything like that? Or any procedural motions, I suppose? Yes, okay, Nestor, would you like to kick us off? Nestor, you are still muted. Hold on, can you unmute yourself, or do you require it to be done for you?
Thank you. No, that's fine. That's classic Microsoft Teams. I was saying, gosh, what was I saying? Yes, so not quite on the same theme as what you've been discussing, but I took particular exception to the decision last year to prevent students from running for rector. I'm sure that you also disagree with disenfranchising students. So I was wondering if you'd be able to commit to changing that, or lobbying the university to change it if you can't do it personally.
So after the last rector elections, the university has gone through some procedural changes in terms of the rector elections, and essentially, whilst we help the university facilitate the rector elections, it's the university who needs to make the call on this. It's not us who make the rules. I can certainly bring it up with the university, and I'm happy to do that. I do believe that in the current framework, rector elections for us to get a new rector start at the end of the month, so I believe it is too short notice to change it for this election. However, I'm happy to start this conversation and have, talk to them and see if it can be changed for the next one.
Okay, Nesta, do you want to reply to that, or do you have anything further to say to the student president?
Not particularly. I would ask that you do raise this, because I do think it's ridiculous, really. Gordon Brown was a rector when he was at Edinburgh. It's an excellent sort of position to have. I don't quite understand why. Again, you say that we don't have the power, but I don't understand why it was changed to begin with. So I would very much appreciate an update. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to look into that for you and ask the university. And then, again, although we might not be able to change something for now, I'm happy to come back to you outside of this council and provide you with an update, or to provide council with an update on that next time. I might have to mention that this was well before my time that these decisions were made. So it's for me, it's also a learning curve of seeing what has happened and why this has happened. But I'm keen on taking that up and let you all know the answer.
Okay, thank you very much to the student president there. I believe we have sorry, do you have a final comment there, Nesta, or are you okay to just leave it there?
Oh, no, that's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Robbie Uriarty, the chair of the Forest Hill Committee, do you have anything that you would like to come in and ask the student president?
Yes, I do. I welcome the student president's decision to push for extended access to university counselling for students out with the UK. My only concern, however, is will there be an increase in service capacity, or is this going to result in the university counselling service being stretched even more than it already is?
Yes, happy to comment on that. So from what I understand by talking to student support services and the university counselling services, actually it is with the British law that counsellors are not allowed to provide services for anyone who is not on British territory. So the way how we need to find a way to provide service is by alternative schemes. And this is something the university has already taken up after I wrote my manifesto before I took office. So there is basically an overall mental health charity with 24/7 emergency access that students at the University of Aberdeen can call for free, and this also works when you are not in the UK. So it's one of my manifesto points that I'm still looking into further solutions, but in terms of the urgency, it is solved as in the university has provided a service for those that are currently out with the UK.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that one. Do we have any other questions or comments or anything pertaining to the work of the student president at this time? Please raise your hand or put in the chat if you don't know how to raise your hand. I think that's all. I think that'll do. Okay, thank you very much. We should go to the Vice President for Communities then for his work report.
Hi everyone, I am Camilo, Vice President for Communities. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm happy to be in the first council of the year. So I'll say that probably the first month in the position was mostly, training and meeting people, try to understand how the uni works, the different positions, the different groups, committees, meetings. So I think that was mostly first month. Since then, court has participated in court has been taking a bit a chunk of my time and Alisa's time, and I think the the highlight from that is the approval of the divestment policy, which I think is a huge step, and it kind of like is a symbolic step also because a university in the oil capital of Europe to commit to be a divestment of fossil fuels is a huge step. It's not my work. It's kind of like a work of many years. We was just there at the end of the process. One of the things I wanted to focus on this year is in creating more like engaging and socializing opportunities both for international students and for postgrads. So in that sense, we created a couple of new events during freshers. They're just targeted for postgrad students, and we had a very good turnout. And then we did another event called Welcome to Scotland, also focusing on kind of like tips about how to move into Aberdeen, to understand the culture, the city, to meet new people. I think those were very successful, and we're thinking about running the postgrad cake and coffee on a monthly basis, working on that. So I think that was a good success. Another work, I've been assisting to many equality, diversity, and inclusion committees and meetings. So one of them is about the definition of anti-Semitism, the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. So we have that's now on Senate. It's going to be discussed on Senate. So that's also kind of like the development on that in that sense. About, I think Ivana already mentioned SPA, so student partnership agreement. So I'm going to skip that. And I think on again about the So another thing that I've been working on is our relations with the UCU, with the union, University College Union. So we used to have a motion that was passed 3 years ago, in which we kind of like supposed to just support the strikes no matter what, and we didn't have like much the detail on that. It was like the only thing on the motion, so that's lapsing this month. So we're working on kind of like with them and try to get a better agreement that is not only kind of like supporting, without any type of like critical position towards them. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll reach something better that only unconditional support. And on top of that, I've been just mostly working with societies, helping them getting back to in-person events, trying to get some of the societies on forums with low numbers to have to get new members to kind of like get back on track, because it's been a very hard year for numbers and for events for everyone. So I think that will be kind of like the highlights of this month. Do you have any questions? Just let me know.
Okay, thank you very much, Camilo. Does anybody have any questions or comments for the Vice President for Communities? Anything at all? Nothing. Okay. Then we shall. Well, thanks for that, and we'll go on to the Vice President for Sports then.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Can hear you all right.
Perfect. So just introduce yourself. So I'm Adam Lambert. I'm the Vice President for Sport, and my pronouns are he and him. I do tend to give a quick apology before I start speaking. I am Irish. I talk quite quickly, and sometimes it may be hard to understand, and hopefully there is no issues. If there is any, though, just give me a message or put your hand up, whatever, and ask me to repeat myself. Not a problem. So just a few things I've went over this year. Firstly, I met with a sports committee that was already appointed, that already had appointed roles from the elections held last year, and we just discussed over the affiliations with some different sports clubs that were looking to affiliate through ISA, and discussed about recruitment for more positions and filling more positions in the committee. I've also worked then one of the main projects that we've worked on is the King's Pavilion switchover for some of the sport in there across the Butchart Hall at the back. So we've worked alongside the university to facilitate the move of several sports across from the King's Pavilion into Butchart. And so far I've got nothing but good feedback, and there's still more work to be done there. Then I was also then the sabbatical lead on Freshers, so was highly involved with the processes for Freshers and for the events planning and stuff like that there. And one thing that I'd taken up then myself was ordering the inclusivity badges, so the pronoun badges, which we had out there for free at the Freshers Fair. Which again went quite well, with nearly every badge being taken within the first day or two of the Freshers, and we have put in more orders for stuff for the badges, which can be collected at the Student Union building again for free. There's a mix of pronoun badges there, and more can always be ordered for specific pronouns. Also then I've just organised and just confirmed actually yesterday the club photos will be held on the 1st of November, so that's the sports clubs photos that usually happens every year, and obviously didn't happen last year for the COVID reasons, but looking to get back to the sense of normality to have the photos, because it usually plays a big part in bringing the sports together. Also had a lot of fun so far. So have again with the social media team as such, with the TikToks and stuff like that there. And again, there's been some very, very successful TikToks as what went out there. You know, over 10,000 views and stuff like that there on it, which is quite fun. I will say now that due to some vacant positions and stuff like that there, I've been involved in some other stuff that's maybe stopped me from getting forward with my manifestos, but now the Freshers and stuff like that there's over, I feel like I can go through and work more on my actual manifesto points for the next while. And yeah, I think that's about it. Any questions or anything to get there?
Anybody have any questions for the Vice President for Sport? Anything pertaining to the work report? Doesn't look like it, okay. Okay, well thank you very much, Adam, and we shall move on to the Vice President for Welfare for the final work report.
Hello, it's me again, Ivana, your VP for Welfare. My pronouns are she, her. And my work report, I feel like I'll talk very briefly if that's okay, but you can ask me any questions if you want. Loads of the projects that I've been working on are pretty long term, such as the Student Mental Health Agreement, the SPA, Student Partnership Agreement, and the Right to Rent. So these are like the three main projects that I inherited as well from Louis last year. Other than that, I've been working on getting the Recite Me tool, the accessibility tool on our website, so I'm very happy about that. And another highlight is that one of my welfare committee members, Sophie, was the first person to participate in the It's Okay to Talk campaign, and she talked about her experience as diabetic, so you can find that on our social media. Other than that, I'm happy to answer questions, and the rest of it is in my work report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ivana. Does anybody have any questions or comments or concerns or anything pertaining to Ivana's work or her work report? Anything for the Vice President for Welfare? Nothing? Okay, right, we shall move on then. Thank you, Ivana. Right, we shall move straight on to the... sorry, Anthony. Do you have something to ask the Vice President, Anthony?
Hi, sorry, Anthony, Vice President of the Communities Committee.
We already moved on a bit, but I was wondering, is it possible to ask a retroactive question to Camilo? I was going to ask a question to him earlier, but then we already moved on, so then I didn't want to interrupt in between.
If the Vice President for Communities will accept the question, then sure.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any question.
Perfect, thanks. Just about the UCU policy, I was wondering what's the current thinking in terms of redrafting the policy, because you said that originally it was a bit vague. So what was the kind of thinking behind redrafting it?
Yeah, so again, that policy basically said that we will just like unconditionally support any strike that the ECU decided to make. So that's lapsing. So we had the choice between just renewing that one, just put another year or more, or whatever, or kind of like, but we feel like we had a chat about that, and we felt like it was very one direction, kind of like it was not, like just supporting it and that's it. And also because we heard from many students that they've been waiting for a year to go back to classes, and then if there was a strike tomorrow, I'm sure we wouldn't be like fair with students to just support the strike. So what we're doing now is working from scratch. We're going to have meetings with them every month. We're going to work in a new agreement. So that will go beyond the strike. No, it will have to be something that includes projects together, concerns together. We have different parts of or campaigns like Decolonize the Curriculum, where we could work hand in hand. So it's going to include a lot more things that only supporting strike. And also, like we want, for example, we're also talking about having a more like joint like events, or trying to get better communication between us, between AUSA and UCU, but also with the students. So there are very kind of like several topics that are going to be introduced there. We're just starting with this process, and we're trying to. We're already working on a new draft. So right now with them, I think Andre is on top of that. But yeah, it's going to include a lot more things. It is, and then we're going to, of course, pass it through council to make sure that it reflects kind of like the students' feelings around strikes and around UCU.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Do you have any follow-up questions to that, Anthony? Or is that sufficient?
Thanks. No, I just wanted to say that I think it's very important that the Student Union does stand in solidarity with the University College Union. If they do have to go on strike, obviously, it would. I think it's unlikely that they're going to go on strike for a reason that we disagree with. But I just wanted to emphasise that I think it's important that as a student union we stand with our colleagues in the UCU and higher education sector.
Okay, thank you very much for that, and thank you, Camilo, for answering those questions. Okay, with that said, we'll move on to the committee and fora updates. So first of all, could I ask if there are any committee chairs who would wish to give an update on the work that they have done so far this year? If there are any reports from the committees at all, just please let us know now, but if not, we shall move on. I understand that some of them might not actually be elected at this point. Some of them probably don't have full membership at this time, but nothing. Okay, well, in that case, I would ask any of the fora, any of the Liberation or Section forums to come forward and give updates of the work that they have done so far. So please just raise your hand, or otherwise let me know that you would like to give a report on that. Nothing? Okay. Okay. In that case, there have also been no bylaw changes and no motions submitted to this council, but I'm sure that will change by the next one. Oh, sorry. An update from the Disability Forum. Yeah, sure. Go for it, please.
Thank you. I'm Sean Wallace. I'm the Education and Welfare Officer for the Disabled Student Forum. I just wanted to say that we had another successful event called the Disability Deep Dive, which is a staff training event on how to support disabled students in classes and socially. And also we're looking to hopefully build another event that's more student focused. So, and we'd love to hear from more students of what they would like to be raised for staff to know if anybody has additional needs within classes or identify as having a disability, as we'd love to have more student participation in this upcoming event. So feel free to contact our Facebook page or send us an email at disabledforum@abdn.ac.uk to let us know your thoughts and to participate in this. We haven't got a fixed date for this yet, but we will keep the Facebook page and all our social media pages updated on that. It's just to let people know that that's the kind of direction we're heading with that work. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that update there from the Disabled Students Forum. Okay, as I was saying, there have been no bylaw changes or motions submitted to this council. Excuse me. Excuse me. However, that would bring us to the end of the formal business of this council. However, we do have some AOCB to deal with. Let me just bring that up. Okay, so the first part of the other competent business that we need to address before the end of council is from the Vice President for Education on the matter of blended learning. Andre?
Yeah. So I just wanted to sort of have a discussion with the councillors if they feel like they would want to share sort of their experiences, how it is going so far, and really open it up for discussion about what kind of changes they would want to see within the classroom or Blackboard or whatnot that they think could be fixed a shorter term before we get to the point where we have all of the class reps up and running along with the school conveners, so we can use those channels. Because I've heard from various students that, for example, the dual delivery, where a session is delivered both online and in person, there have been issues with the tech that they have not been able to access the learning online. They had to then rewatch additional lecture that was made for them, so it took up their time. So I was wondering if anybody has any of those kind of difficulties that they would want to share with us today, or perhaps have a discussion so that we can get those sorted really quickly, rather than wait 4 or 5 weeks until we have all the class reps set up and try to deal with those issues later, because that clearly has an impact on the academic experience of everyone.
Okay, thank you. Alexander, I think, has a comment for you on this one. You should be able to unmute in just a second. It takes a second for us to allow it.
He should be able to unmute now. I've done it.
Okay, you're now able to unmute yourself and begin to speak. Not yet, apparently.
Aha, there we go.
Top notch, okay.
It's kind of more of a general, I've heard it about town, just from talking to students in sort of my committee capacity and outside of that. just generally, a lot of people are confused of where to find things, because I know there are several different streams of places to find information and course material. There's been trouble accessing that. Like someone will say, go to the second lecture slides and you can find all the information there. And then they find out through Blackboard they don't actually have access to the second lecture slides yet. So they have to request that, which then takes a day, which then takes, has a knock-on effect on the studies. There's also been a couple people, I'm not sure if there's anything we can really do about, and maybe Andrea can speak to you about this in more detail, who are surprised by the balance of online and on-campus learning. I think some people were expecting more on-campus work. More was advertised from what they're receiving now. But they're just some quick points to add. I'd be happy to discuss them further with yourself, Andre.
Yeah, thank you. I will take those away. And of course, if there is ever feedback on any of those particular things, people can always come to me directly, because I'm able to do a lot of things once I have a feedback from students. However, I'm unable to do anything unless I see evidence of particular things happening from students. So if you're experiencing difficulties, I would always encourage people to come directly to one of us and feed those issues to us so that we can solve them and evidence them to university. Any other issues that people have that they would want to see addressed in the near future?
Rebecca asked in chat if there been any progress on adding pronouns to Blackboard. However, the student president has replied that they're working on it. So I'm not sure if you want to comment on that.
It was actually VP for welfare, but yeah, I can comment on it further. I've been working on it with the IT team, and they're looking into it. They found a way how to do it. Blackboard is adding the option of how to do it in there. So it's just about how we are going to implement it into our system. I'll chase it up again because I really wanted to have it in place for the International Pronoun Day, the 20th of October, but I'm not sure if we can manage that. So hopefully before the end of the year, but I'll keep you updated.
And
okay, thank you very much. Anthony has a question or a comment for you there, Andre. Somebody be able to give Anthony the ability to speak, please.
Perfect, thanks very much. Anthony, Vice Chair, Communities Committee. Not exactly sure who to address this question to, but as far as I recall, in last April, there was a motion Student Council for the setting up of a Student Workers Forum, and I was wondering if there had been any progress on that, or if anyone knew of any updates, especially, because it was about going forward, so that I think something that we could look at. Thanks.
I can give an update. The Student Workers Forum is currently being run for the election. So if you know anybody who's interested in being a convener or any other position on the forum, encourage them to do so. They have the opportunity to apply until tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Thank you very much. Does that suitably answer your question, Anthony?
It does. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions or anything, any type of feedback for the Vice President for Education pertaining to the blended learning specifically, ideally?
If not, then my inbox is always open, so it's outsideeducation@apdn.ac.uk. Anything that you'll really want to see addressed, always let me know.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Andre. Okay, we shall move on then. We have an update regarding graduation from the student president, I do believe. Good afternoon.
Yes, so just very quickly, the preparations for graduations in November are well underway, and all eligible postgraduate students for the November graduation should have received an email last week that we are actually planning to hold in-person graduations. They're not going to be on campus, they're going to be in Teca. However, Camila and I are working really hard with the university to make sure that students still get the campus graduation experience, and we're also looking at transport options to get students and their loved ones to Teca and back. And then for all those that have missed their graduations in 2020 and 2021, the university is looking at holding ceremonies in summer. So that planning is also well underway, and hoping that as soon as we've kind of trialed the November in-person graduations with a smaller cohort, we then can draw from these experiences to plan for a very big graduation in summer. If there are any questions or any concerns or anything, please do let me know. Same as Andre, my inbox is always open. You can contact me at ausapresident@abdn.ac.uk, or you can send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Unless anybody has anything to say about that immediately, then we come straight back to you, Student President, for an update on the matter of the training.
Yes, so this is about the Student Council training. So as you're all aware, we provide training to new councillors, and I just wanted to let you know that the training will be taking part after the elections have finished to allow new members to participate. The Education Committee have their own training, so you can ask Andre about this if you're unsure. And the training is mandatory for everyone else, so it will likely go ahead in late October, just to make sure that not only the people who are now on council, but also all the people that will have handed in their nominations to be in council until tomorrow 4 p.m. have a chance to receive the training in a timely manner.
Okay, thank you very much. And finally, an update regarding freshers, the freshers feedback. I don't know who the lead is on that, though. Who's taking that one? Or is this just, well, I don't know who is to be taking the lead on this. Yeah, Elisa?
I can take it if no one else wants to take it. Basically, I mean, just from our side, freshers has been going really, really, really well, which is kudos to everyone who was involved, and also to all of our volunteers who did an amazing job. And, you know, making sure the events run smoothly and helping out wherever hand is needed. The university was really happy. I have never seen a university SMT being so happy with freshers before, but everyone was really positive about coming back on campus. And then Ellie has just put a link in the chat for a Menti survey about your response to freshers. So if you could fill that out, that is highly appreciated. And again, if you have any question or any further feedback, don't hesitate to contact any of us, and we will take it forward to the appropriate person.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So yeah, if everybody could take a second to fill out the Mentimeter on 3 words about what they thought of freshers, provided you were involved with it. Hopefully it was a good time for everybody. If you could take just a minute or so to do that, and then other than that, that is actually, as far as I'm aware, the end of business for this particular council. So yeah, I do believe so. Right. Okay then. Right. If everybody wants to just go fill that in, and then other than that, everybody is free to go. That is the end of. Oh, sorry. Comment from Andre there.
Just a quick one, that in the future meetings we might have special guests, so watch the space and you'll be able to give questions to important people in the university or Scottish sector.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So for the new councillors who might not be aware, often throughout the year, people such as the principal, vice principal, other, general high-ranking members of the university, or apparently outsiders as well, may attend, and you'll be able to ask questions to them. But nothing is confirmed so far as I'm aware for any councils coming up. But I'll let you know. Okay, so thank you very much for that. That is the end of council. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending, and see you later on.